And we're live. Welcome to paraglidingtalk.com. I'm your host, Robert Michaels. Glad you're here. We have a special episode tonight. We have Jeff Hamann with us. Super stoked about that. We're going to have all things flying is the topic tonight. We're going to talk about the most recent adventures that Jeff has had. We're going to talk about how we can be better pilots, how we can fly safer. And we're going to talk a little bit about flying circus. That's obviously an important part of every year's flying shenanigans. So that'll be a great time. I'm just getting my my stuff sorted here, so bear with me.
We're getting some feedback.
Yeah.
Somebody's talking in the background.
That might be Jeff.
Somebody got the YouTube up in the background.
It's me. I got it off. Sorry.
Oh, you got it. Rip man.
Sorry, guys.
Rip man's a rookie. Yeah, he's a
mistake.
I do want to mention a couple sponsors real quick while I'm sorting these things out. One of those sponsors is PPG Smoke. PPG Smoke is, they originally, I don't know if you guys know this, but we did a little math and they donated $15,000 worth of smoke machines, lamels, chase cams, float systems, strobes. Every time they would come out with something new, he would send me a batch of them, and every time I would go to his house for something, he would have another one, another thing to give me. So he would constantly be giving those things, and obviously selling his stuff, but mainly he never really asked anything from me. He never told me, hey, I want you to advertise this many times, do this. So he's been a supporter from the very beginning of the show. And so I really appreciate him. Go check out his website, ppgsmoke.com. Also want to mention paramotorprops.com. Now, Paramotor Props is near and dear to my heart because I went on a trip with Jeff. And in that trip, I ended up blowing up a prop and couldn't fly the adventure. We went out to the Painted Gorge, and we had successfully did it one time, and then this time I failed. I botched a launch, blew up the prop, and the rest was history. And I had to sit and listen to Gringo and Jeff on radio having the time of their lives. And so I learned that I needed to have an extra set. And I called, literally while I was there, I called Paramotor Props, got a new prop. They hooked me up. By the time, I think it was 2 days had went by, I had already received an email. And I think the third day is when it showed up on my porch. So paramotorprops.com. I think some fly-ins last long enough that you could blow one up in the first day and get it before the end of the fly-in. Also want to mention American Allied Drains and Plumbing. They are the preferred plumbing company of San Diego. If you want to use a plumber for some plumbing services and you mention Paragliding Talk, they will actually give you a discount of 10%. So all you have to do is mention Paragliding Talk. They'll give you 10% off. And you can call them by calling 844-777-9055. And that's American Allied Drains and Plumbing. So grateful. By the way, in moderation, we have Sean Nafsker. We're going to spin the wheel about the halfway mark. Ripman Riding's with us over there in the East Coast. And he's going to hang out with us tonight, taking Gringo's place. Gringo's out to eat. And he's not able to be with us tonight, but we'll still have a great show without him. Right, guys? You don't need Gringo.
We'll miss him.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, Jeff, thank you so much. If you guys don't know who Jeff Hamann is one of the, I would argue, one of the pioneers of adventure flying paramotors. And he's got a wealth of different other adventure type things in his life. He was a diver. I think for many years he did diving. I don't want to say deep sea because I don't know if he did much deep stuff, but did quite a bit of photography, underwater stuff. And then also is a neighbor of mine. He's got the longest recorded flying record of the Pacific coast that I know of. I don't know anyone else that has come close to this. There might be people that have tried, but and he's recorded it to share with us. It's pretty amazing. Go back and check out some of the previous episodes. I don't have them queued up now, but if you go back into the website, Paragliding Talk. Go into previous episodes, and you're going to find Jeff Hamann, or you can just search it up in Google. Some of these episodes are incredible. Go look at the last one where he talked about Chile and his adventure flying there in Chile. Absolutely great. You'll be trapped by the stories. Incredible, super fun. This time, and what we're going to talk about tonight is his recent write-up that he has in Cross Country Magazine. And you can't write a story in any magazine, I argue, without having some really good pictures. And so Jeff has been able to do that. He found some incredible pictures along the way and flying in Rio Hardy. And so you can find this in issue 234 in Cross Country. I wish Cross Country Magazine was a sponsor of the show. They're not, but that's some free advertising for them. So if you really want to go and check out the original story, you can do that. Issue 234. So Jeff set off on this adventure to go and fly Rio Hardy, and this is a Mexicali. We'll just start there with Mexico.
Yeah, it's been kind of fun, Robert. You know, this past summer, people always ask me, so where was your most recent flying trip? And I say, oh, I went to beautiful Mexicali.
Yeah.
And if you're from Southern California, that's kind of like somebody hitting the gong. You know, it's like, who wants to go to Mexicali?
Yeah. Where do I sign
hot
up?
Place. It's out in the desert. It's a bordered, dangerous town. But we had a great time.
The Wild West of Mexico. It's kind of if you guys have been to the Salton Sea Fly-In, just imagine the Salton Sea Fly-In in Mexico.
Yeah, it's actually the capital of Baja California.
Mexicali is?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
And I went because I had been flying the Colorado River, and I didn't really do a good job of flying from the border to the northern Gulf of California. So that was the goal of this trip. I'm
going to pull up a screen share, and we're going to start at the bottom of this adventure. So you can see Rio Hardy is a part of his flying. Now, if you look off to the left there in the Pacific side, he's covered all that, by the way. But we're focusing on this particular area.
So Rio Hardy at one point was the main channel of the Colorado River, but it has since been left out on the side. It's really more of a lake than it is a river now. The river follows that white track down the middle.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'm glad you said that. So talk a little bit about the preparations to.
So it is a very hot place. And I first researched all the weather and realized that in May it's too windy. And by July, it's already too hot. So we set up our trip to go in June. And I was afraid we'd messed up because when we arrived, it was 108 degrees.
Oh, that's a little spicy.
Very, very hot. Fortunately, when you get up early in the morning, it's in the low 80s. So it's comfortable to get a 2-3 hour morning flight in before the weather gets too oppressive.
So talk a little bit about what you're thinking before you go. Obviously, there's some preparation, checking weather. You're trying to understand weather patterns. Take us through what Jeff Hamann is going to need before he commits to an adventure.
Well, in addition to the weather, you're always looking for geography. Where are you going to launch? Where are you going to land? How safe is the path you're going to take in case you have a problem? This was a really easy track because the land was either desert or agricultural fields. There were some areas that was muddy that could have been a problem, but other than that, it was pretty safe. And then, lining up drivers and equipment and partners that know what they're doing and are easy to get along with is always helpful.
Have you ever had to cancel a trip that you had already set everything in motion and
Yes.
then you just turn it off?
Yeah. COVID canceled the trip for me last year. That's.
Oh, where was that at?
Oh, I was going to go to an island south of Hawaii for a week.
And this
Christmas
is not.
Island.
Oh, Christmas Island. No kidding.
Uh-huh.
I vaguely remember you talking about that.
Another one
Yeah.
of those trips that you said you didn't want to go with me on.
Yeah. Is that what it was? Oh man, that would have been a good one. Well, it's not too
Someday
late.
maybe you'll say yes.
Yeah, it's not too late. And the answer is always no if you don't ask. So if you guys don't know, Jeff lives a rock throw. He could probably throw a paper airplane and hit my house from where he lives.
I don't know about that, but if I get out my binoculars, I think I could pick it out.
Yeah, you could. I can see he has the Star of David up on the hill of his house, and so I can see it. You can see it from miles and miles. But I'm so grateful that you put it up. Thank you again, Jeff. That brings me the Christmas spirit and hope.
So the other thing is planning the legs so that they're not too long, that they're hopefully not upwind, and that you've got a track for somebody to follow you in a vehicle in case you got a problem, which is good because our first leg, we lost 2 out of 6. Only 4 of us made it to the destination.
And what happened with that? Engine
Well,
outs?
actually, can I take you to the pictures here? And I'll kind of
Yes.
talk through it a little bit.
I couldn't wait. I was desperate for pictures because I only have the tracks.
So these are the guys I went with. Eric's from LA, Walt's from Ontario, Luis was one of our drivers, that's me. Javier is from Merida, so he came the furthest. Juanjo's from Tijuana, and then Casey is a local resident here in San Diego with the rest of us. It's really interesting. This is a picture of the Colorado River where it crosses the border.
No kidding.
Do you see any water?
It's dry. It's bone
There
dry.
ain't no water. The only water that crosses from the US into Mexico is in a canal.
And is that Colorado water?
It is
In the canal?
in a canal.
Okay. Interesting.
So, we picked out a field where we launched. There was very little wind, so it was a little bit of a challenging launch, but everybody got off the ground. And as you start moving south, that's the riverbed, if you can believe it.
Yep. Reminds me of
So
Arizona.
This is all the riverbed here. No water of any kind running in the riverbed. But as you work your way south, you start getting wet areas. And then the wet areas get wetter. And pretty soon there's water running.
No kidding.
It's not running, actually. What it is it's groundwater and it's agricultural runoff. So it's got a lot of fertilizer in it, and it grows lots of algae and other stuff. And they use the canal water to irrigate all of their fields here. And there's always a little bit of runoff, and then the groundwater gets into the aquifer below, and that's what creates the Rio Hardy. At this point, the Rio Hardy is nothing but agricultural water and runoff.
That's very fascinating. So
one guy only made it a couple of miles, and the filter inside of his air box came loose and went up and laid against his carburetor and choked off enough air that the motor quit. Which is probably good, because if it hadn't quit, it probably would have overheated and burned up. So we fortunately had 2 drivers. We sent one of them back right away to find him. And then before we reached the house, Eric went down. We're not sure really why. His motor just quit, and he landed out in the field as well. And then this is Juanjo landing in front of the house that we rented for 5 nights.
Nice. And it
Well,
looks like
actually
it has a
rented a
run.
house on the Rio Hardy that we stayed in and used as our base of operations for the whole trip. This is the house that we stayed in.
Oh, that's perfect. Right on
Yeah,
the Colorado River.
Well, that's what it says on Google, but that's the Rio Hardy, which really isn't
Yeah.
Colorado.
The agricultural runoff.
Yeah. Well, Lake
That's right.
Lake Rio Hardy.
So you had two chase cars or 2 guys on the ground following you, and there's 4 of you in this adventure.
There's actually 6 pilots.
6 pilots total. Okay,
Right.
got it.
Only 4 of us completed the first leg.
Okay, got it. And how many miles was that first leg, by the way?
I think it was about 35 miles.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
You're-
Fortunately, we had a little bit of a tailwind, so that helps.
Yeah, that does help. A guy named Mad Sloper in the chat, he said, did Jeff have a special permit to fly across the border?
We didn't fly across the border.
Yeah, you guys
We drove across, and then we drove real close to the border where we launched, and then flew away from the border back towards Rio Hardy.
And so you've started this adventure flying the Colorado some time ago. How many years is this in the making?
Oh, I probably flew the first leg 6-7 years ago. I haven't done it regularly. It's just kind of when it works out. I actually flew a couple of legs on the way to the flying circus one year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw that little deviation of a flight that you made on the track. Let me see if I can, I'll pull that up. I thought that was interesting. I was going to ask about what happened there. Is that the, well, there's a couple of them actually.
No.
Yeah,
there you
this
go.
one.
That purple pink leg
Yep.
is, this part of its river. Can you see my cursor?
Oh, no, I can't.
I didn't think so. Okay.
Yeah. But I imagine you're following this white line here.
Yeah.
Which is the border of Arizona, if I'm correct.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is.
And if you follow this up further, right, there was another one that you deviated quite a bit from there we go, last stop.
Yeah, that's because there was no good place to launch down by the river. And,
I imagine.
And it would have taken a lot more time, which would have made it hard to get there and get the flight done before it started getting too hot.
And it was almost the distance. That's like almost halfway.
Yeah. Sometimes you got to do that.
Yeah. But you made the connection. I really admire that. You went after it. Are you going to continue this adventure?
I can only go another flight about the same distance as the last one before you start getting into the controlled airspace of the Grand Canyon.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
So now that hasn't stopped you before, with controlled airspace being the topic. You flew through some pretty congested airspace here with Coronado. You made some calls to the Lindbergh field people.
Yeah, we actually we filed a flight plan with the Southern California control, and they put us into contact with Lindbergh, and we flew from Torrey Pines to the border.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
And
so we flew with aviation radios, and we talked to the towers as we went, and it was fun.
Is that even an option to do through the Grand Canyon so you can continue the Colorado River adventure?
I doubt it.
Be a tall order. And would you do it? I've seen you fly over some pretty hairy places where you don't have landing options.
Yeah, it's not a good place to fly.
Yeah. That last adventure you did with Phil Russman was a tall order. No landing zones. I told Phil, I said, man, what do you do if you land out? And I said, I said, what do you do if you have an engine out? And he goes, oh, there's plenty of places to land. Look at all that water. Not a landing place in sight. I want to mention one of the sponsors, by the way, Nebraska PPG. Josh Bowden, he runs a school in Nebraska. If you're interested in getting some top-notch training, you can sign up with Josh and his team today. There's a link in the description if you want to get a hold of him. Let's talk a little bit about your.
Can I take you back to the house and show you where the?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I want to see the
So
the next leg.
This is where the house was, and the first leg that I was showing you is this blue track. So we found the field here where we launched. We went up to the border, and then we followed the water course back to about here, and then we dipped over to the house. But here I was going to show you. See if you zoom in on the Rio Hardy here. It says Colorado River.
Yeah, see, I knew I was right.
But it's not.
Yeah.
If you can see, it goes up here and it just kind of disappears into the agricultural fields.
Right.
Whereas the water course is really here.
Right. That is fascinating.
Yeah. And so it actually kind of disappears again before you get to the Delta.
Yeah. And then how do you find?
We just flew alongside. We didn't try to follow it.
Yeah.
So then, the next leg, because of the weather, we actually flew this green line one. And then the third day we did this leg here.
Oh, the orange is going back.
No, we did start at the house.
Okay.
And that day, I think we launched 5 pilots, but still only 4 of us made it.
Wow. Is there roads that can get you in and out of that space, or is that some 4-wheel driving?
Let me show you those pictures real quick here.
I mean, I picture it's kind of like the Salton Sea.
There are. So what did I do wrong here?
You're trying to share pictures?
I'm trying to share a different screen. Let's try that one.
Oh, DP donated $10
There
for
we go.
super chat. Thanks, DP. He says alms for the poor. Thank you, kind sir.
So this is flying south from the house, and you can see that the rivers, the lake has got some abandoned agricultural fields and a little bit of dirt road here and there. So
not much.
Not much, no.
Rabbit trails.
And then as we go further south, it dries up again, and it's salt crusts.
Yeah.
And salt bushes. It's really.
Oh, those are good pictures. Look at that. It looks like
it's pretty gnarly down there.
Wow. Yeah, that's like a different planet. Wow.
It is. I was trying to find one here that shows maybe a dirt track. It would have been rough to do a retrieval, but
so that guy that went
from the highway off-road. See, the highway is actually way over here against the mountains. It would have been a long way. I think this one. No, there's no tracks anywhere, is there?
The guy who went down, was he deep in no man's land?
That's Eric. Day? And he managed to land about 1 kilometer from the highway. So
that's not bad.
It wasn't too difficult of a retrieval.
Wow. So look at those pictures there. Yeah.
There's an idea of the Delta itself. And that's where I was, talking about the mud. If you went down there, I'm not sure you could even walk out.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's
unnerving. That's unnerving.
It's like quicksand.
You can't walk out.
There are some dirt tracks out there. And then it's interesting. The further south you go, the more marine influence there is. So there's lots of salt on top of the dirt.
Wow.
You fly with an in-reach in case you do go down out there?
You
To
know, there's
communicate?
6 of us with radios and
Okay.
GPSs. I do fly with an inReach other places, but we didn't use them down here this trip. There was, you know, with 6 guys, there's plenty of backup.
Yeah, yeah.
That.
Now that one actually showed the highway. So
Okay.
here's the highway here. You can see my cursor when I'm doing it, right?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So there's Eric.
Oh man.
On his trike.
Yeah.
And what was it? Did he say what happened?
He, I think, had dirt in his carburetor because it happened to him 3 times.
Oh,
And
shoot.
he finally got it running okay the last couple of days, just in time for his motor mounts to break.
Oh my
So
gosh.
he couldn't fly at all the last day. The last day there
Oh.
were only 2 of us still in the air.
2 out of 6 were
Yeah,
left flying.
only me and Walt did the last flight.
Man.
Yeah, so, you know, it's just spectacular. So next
Yeah.
time somebody says I want to go flying in Mexicali, don't turn your nose up.
Yeah. Well, I
That's-
just know that if Jeff calls and says, "Hey, we're going to try to go fly somewhere," I just say, "Okay, I trust you," because that Painted Gorge one, that I was thinking, man, this
yeah,
is
that was
middle of nowhere. That was absolutely fun. Oh, and the Slot Canyon. That was incredible. Life-changing Slot Canyon adventure. I'm telling you guys, if you can fly down there. Oh, Will Fly donated $5 to the super chat. He said Resurgence PPG rocks, and Resurgence PPG does rock. Hey, Sean, let's spin the wheel and give something away, shall we?
Yes. So I know we're on the delay, so no more names in the wheel. Boom for the latecomers. Sorry, guys.
Yep, that's for the
Missed out.
latecomers.
You're
We're
missing
doing
a good
it.
show with an awesome guest, Jeff.
Yeah.
You know, a legend. You
We're
know,
2 minutes early, so now the people that are going to log in at 6:30 to just win the prize,
That's
they're
right.
out.
That's right. They snoozed.
That's
And
right.
And Robert, what's going to be the prize tonight?
So tonight we're giving
Yeah.
away the last keychain,
Ooh,
the last Booms Fishing retractable
phone
keychain
phone
phone lanyard.
lanyard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pull it out of the package just for the sake of throwing away.
It's very impressive. It's got a nice little carabiner on it.
Yep.
I use
Yep.
mine every flight.
Oh, you
Yes.
do?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah.
is
So
that how do you keep track of your car keys?
you can tie your phone to this when you're taking pictures with your phone, and it will keep it. I use one for my new. It's a little. What do you call those little dome mirrors? It's a mirror that I have on mine so I can check my gas.
You call them a gas gauge.
Gas gauge, yeah, a round gas gauge. Yeah, so I use that now. It's actually an excellent little thing. Actually, Paul, go ahead, Sean. You can set it up. Paul, who is one of the local guys, he actually lives literally down the street from you, Jeff, and he's the one that donated those to the show multiple times. By the way, he's supported the show over the years. Just a really good guy. So yeah,
Great
let it
product.
rip. Yeah, it is a good product. Must be, because it says fishing on it. By the way, the spin of this wheel is brought to you by Calamity Kite Clinic. Sean runs a ground handling school, if you will. Ground handling your paraglider is a critical part of being an excellent pilot. If you want to be a better ground handler, you can reach out to Sean at CalamityKiteClinic.com, and you can find out what fly-ins he's going to be at, and you can pick his brain, just send him some emails, and even if you want to do some internet harassment, you can do that by going to CalamityKiteClinic.com. And also, he will compete with you. If you think you're excellent at ground handling, you can sign up for a competition with Sean. test your abilities. Oh, it's
Good
really
stuff.
close.
Oh, William.
Oh, William almost had it.
Almost. Almost. I don't know.
John Carilli. Congratulations. That was really loud. John
Sorry.
Carilli, congratulations. Winner, winner, chicken dinner. You are the winner of the retractable keychain. Reach out to me at paraglidingtalk.com and go to the contact form. Fill that out. I'll get your address and I'll ship this out as soon as I have your information. I'll be looking for it, by the way.
I have to say that's a pretty good touch. I don't know how loud it is for you guys, but yay! It's like yeah.
Yeah, I feel it's fitting. It's definitely a good fit. Yeah. So let me ask this question for the people that are wanting to do these long range adventure. What's the hardest part about executing an excellent adventure?
Well, I don't know. It depends where you're going. Some places it's windy all the time, like Campeche. Some places you got to be worried about high elevation launching. Some places like this trip, we had variable nothing wind at launch, which made it. I did 6 attempts one morning. Very embarrassing. Yeah.
Wow.
I did finally get off the ground, but we ended up in 2 groups because it took me so long to get off the ground.
Gosh, you just really boosted my confidence, Jeff.
Getting a good driver, good equipment, good plan. I don't know what the biggest challenge is. There's just a lot of details that you've got to get right to be successful.
Yeah. It can, and just one facet of any of these can really change the adventure. And you forgot to charge your radio.
Yep.
You forgot the camera.
And if a guy goes down in a bad place and it takes you the rest of the day to retrieve him, you could lose a day.
You can lose multiple days depending on how deep the adventure with Jeff Hamann really is.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Well, I'll never forget that story you shared with the people. I think you said they chopped down a tree, crossed the road so that they could rob people.
Yeah.
That's in Chile. Oh, that's a different level of commitment to go and continue the task. The Red Rocks, if you saw this, the Red Bull X Alps sponsored the first American hike and fly competition, and that video just came out. Oh, it looks so inspiring. So I just started watching a section of it, the beginning of the show. If you can go and check that out.
Looking at the radical stuff these guys do, I realize that, it's a different category. I don't want to go someplace where I could end up having to spend the night out in the middle of nowhere, waiting for a retrieval. And they do that every day. We are on the ground by 9 o'clock. It's too nasty up there after. In fact, one day driving back from San Felipe to the house, we counted 27 dust devils. And some of them looked huge. And we're thinking, this is a good time to be on the ground driving, not. And then another day driving back, we went through a dust storm. It was blowing hard enough that the Laguna Salada dust was kicking up and blowing across the road, and you can only see 100 yards ahead of you.
Whoa.
Yeah. So down there, especially, you don't want to be flying after the sun starts heating everything up good. But we did spend a few afternoons in San Felipe where the heat is drawing wind off the water, so it's nice and laminar, and there's a couple of cliffs down there that offer pretty good soaring opportunities. So we had some fun down there. I have some pictures if you'd like to see them.
Yeah, I would like to see those. I really appreciate you documenting so well your adventures. A lot of people don't take the time to do what you've done, and I love doing it myself.
So this is the rest of the territory getting down to San Felipe. as it turns more and more salty, there are a couple of places where they're drying salt water and then scooping it
Okay.
up in these piles and loading it on trucks and and hauling it. And it
Yes.
was interesting. The bags are just stacked on these trucks, and on the highway up and down, we saw where they'd fallen off, and there's big white splotches on
Oh,
the pavement. Yeah, it was crazy.
that's the selfie there at the bottom that you have to take to prove that it was you, that you didn't just take the
Yes,
pictures from
that's right.
someone else.
So this is one day down in San Felipe, and we were pretty disappointed. It wasn't windy enough to free fly. So as you can see, unlike most parawaders, we just whipped out the motors
Yeah.
and we went flying anyway, right?
That's right.
So this is my favorite place to free fly. Doesn't that look great?
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah, it's and this abandoned house, this up in here is just a really great place to launch. But we went back, and as you can see, there's a little bit of wind filling in, and by early afternoon, we busted out the free flight harnesses.
Ah, there you go.
And had a good flight.
And did you guys, you still kept the base?
Yes. Yeah,
and
we
so-
got as far as an hour and 15 minutes away from our base, both directions.
Okay, that's not bad.
Nah, not too bad. But it was busy because of the driving and, being able to try to free fly every afternoon.
Will Fly asked, can we have Jeff explain why it's important to have good ground support?
It's it's harder than it seems. You've got to have a vehicle with a radio, and a guy who knows how to run a radio, and a guy who doesn't turn on the music so high that he's not listening to you. I'm serious. That's happened to me before. And a guy who has a sense of direction. Down there we had cell service. So we were able to send WhatsApp location pins when we went down, which we don't always have. Sometimes you got to work with the GPS. But, if you imagine in Baja, many times where we had an outage or an engine out, we had to relay by radio to the ground crew latitude and longitude. And then the ground crew had to find a road that's passable to get out to wherever the pilot went down. And
wow,
it's hard. I remember one time in Baja, I had to relaunch a couple times to direct the ground crew around some difficult spots to get to where we were. And having somebody that's got a good sense of direction is harder to find than you'd think.
Boy, yeah, having to relaunch in a time when there's a reason why you landed, and now you're flying, you're back in the air.
I landed because the guy's prop blew up in the air.
Oh,
so he didn't relaunch, but I did.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah.
That's a little unnerving. There was another question, Fly Swamper. He said, some chat about whether Salton Sea is going to happen as normal would be nice. I've heard mixed signals. So the Salton Sea reporting, there's a Facebook group there, and Anthony actually shared with me, Paragringo shared with me this morning that the police are enforcing the no camping rule where we normally have it. So I'm not sure how that's going to go down. I imagine that there's still going to be groups of people that are going to show up that the week before the 16th, which is the flying circus like they normally do. So what is that, the 9th? But I can't, I can just direct you to their Facebook page.
Is Johnson's Landing still open?
I believe so. It should be, because that's legal, somebody owns that. But the land that is not private property where we camp normally, is they've been going out, and I don't know if they're ticketing, but I know that they're shooing people out of camping from in that area. It has something to do with those hay bales, I'm assuming. Yeah, so yeah, if I can, I'll just redirect you to the Facebook chat, and there's plenty of people that know way more than I do about that. But I will not be at the Salton Sea, unfortunately, because of conflict. We have a marriage seminar that's happening that weekend, so I appreciate my marriage. I don't want my wife to beat me, so we're gonna go to that. It's very important. Keep your marriages strong, guys. It's very important. Love your wives. So the I did want to before I get into this next question, because this one's a deep one, and I'm really interested in what you're going to say to this. I want to mention maxacro.com. They're one of the sponsors of the show. Max Acro is Max Marion's website, and he has taken it up a notch with his what he's organizing. It used to be kind of haphazard, and it would be like, okay, there's going to be a SIV clinic next week, and if you can go sign up, and then everybody would rush to sign up. Now he's got like 2 years sign up in advance. They're taking trips to Turkey. He's got all kinds of videos and all kinds of things. Go check out his website. It's maxacro.com, and really good acro training, really good if you want to just do an SIV clinic and get better at flying your glider. A great place to sign up. So again, maxacro.com, and you can tell them that you heard it from Paragliding Talk, so that it will reinforce the, the sponsorship. Also, iFly Indiana, powered paragliding. If you're interested in flying paramotors, no better place to get the proper training than iflyindiana.com. Kevin and his team will get your feet off the ground. Also want to mention Lone Star Paramotor. If you're in the Lone Star state of Texas, you can reach out to Ron Turan and his team. They have world-class training there. You will not be disappointed in your and the things that you're going to learn there. And they got a great track record as well for turning out good pilots. So appreciate, by the way, all the people that are in the chat. There's many people. Jeff brought a bunch of extra people, I assume. That's why there's so many people watching live. So I'm glad that you're there, and really appreciate everybody. If you have a wrench next to your name, it's because you've done something exceptional, and you've supported the show in an exceptional way. So I really appreciate those that have been exceptional. Let's ask this next question. Mind battles. One of the hardest things to get past is mind battles. And I'll give you an example. I know Jeff may not have any mind battles, but there are certain times, and I've flown with you, and I had one of these events where we were flying back. This was the first time we went to Painted Gorge, and we went to the mountains, and at 9 o'clock in the morning, we're coming back into land, and I hit a huge thermal. Now, I'm a free flight guy, and I feel like I have a pretty high bump tolerance, and I felt that thermal on the motor, and I'm like, oh gosh, I don't want anything to do with this. I'm going to go and land. And just at that time, I get on the radio and I said, hey, Jeff, I'm going to go land. And I look back, and you're like, I'm going to soar this ridge, and I'm going to go adventure this way for a while. And I'm like, what? Oh my gosh. I thought, okay, I'm going to land because this is on like Donkey Kong, and you sent it. Maybe talk a little bit about the mind battles, and it doesn't have to necessarily just be bumpy air. How do you get past some of the previous, like you and I, we've had some hard launches where it hurt and you broke stuff. How do you get past that for the guys that are grounded right now because they broke themselves or broke things, and talk about that a little bit?
Well, everybody's got their own risk tolerance levels, and it's silly to try to convince someone to raise it to a level that they're uncomfortable with. I don't picture myself as being a guy who likes to take too much risk. I fly A and B wings, and I'm not ashamed to admit it. And I don't do maneuvers close to the ground. And if it's windy, I kite my wing a little bit. If it's bumpy, I don't fly. The day that you mentioned, maybe I didn't hit the same thermal you did, but it was still only 9 o'clock in the morning. It wasn't bad yet. And I knew I was going to get back before it was too choppy. as far as is getting back on the horse again, yeah, I've had a few little accidents, but that never stopped me from, just getting back out there. And I like to kite and try to stay in shape, which definitely helps with your confidence level as well as your physical abilities to overcome what you might get into. Guess that's all I can think of.
Yeah, that's great. That's a garbage question, but I thought I would ask just certain people
try to stump me, huh? Yeah,
yes,
thanks.
certain people they look up to adventure pilots, and there might be a little secret nugget in there that you probably help some people. I'm just imagining. So let's talk about your favorite highlight of that adventure, and then I want to just ask you a little bit about the cross country magazine interaction and how does that go down? Because not everybody.
Another picture here.
Yeah. Not everybody has posts in a magazine. So that's people, I know that's common for you. This is not the first time you've been in cross country magazine.
So one day we went back to fly the middle section where there's a gold mine. And the weather was actually a bit windier this day. And only two of us flew, Walt and I. And it was fine out here in the salt flats where there wasn't any rotor, and we flew over to this gold mine, and it's an interesting extraction method. They pile up this ore and leach it with cyanide, and all the gold sticks and ends up down in these pools down here, and they get the gold out of that. That's even less environmentally responsible than the air conditioning business, wouldn't you say, Robert?
Cyanide. Wow.
So Walt and I flew back to the big hole in the ground.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, aren't the colors wild?
Yeah, and it's made of the same stuff. That's if you just fly up maybe 100 miles or so, that's Painted Gorge area. It's the same stone.
So this is where they're grinding the ore and making it powdery to put on the pile. And then this is the hole. And it's a few 100 feet deep. And then even down at the bottom of the hole, you can see where they dug other holes. Mine shafts to get into good spots.
Oh, there's caves everywhere.
Yeah, there's holes dug in the side of the mountain and lots of different places here.
So there must be quite a bit of gold in there if they're running the operation.
I don't know what the figures are, but as you can see, they're moving a lot of dirt.
Yeah. Oh, that's
the ball mill again. And then this is my favorite spot.
Look at that.
You think of red typically as iron, but it must have had some gold mixed in with it because they were taking the top off this mountain.
Yeah, look at that.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah. What's the response from the people on the ground? I'm sure there's people working there. Are you getting waves? Or are you getting nervous?
No, in that place there was nobody that waved us off or anything. So here's the pile. It's huge. I don't know how many
look at
hundred thousands of yards of cubic yards of material. It's huge.
Yeah, that in that picture, if you can go back to that picture, look at the that's a trailer down there at the bottom. Yeah, right there. Is that a tractor trailer? That's like a diesel trailer.
And if you look, you can see the grid here. Those are leach lines that are bleeding the cyanide solution into the dirt.
No kidding.
Isn't that crazy?
How does that even work?
Yeah.
Golly.
I'm no chemist, but that's a very common extraction method for gold around the world.
Wow, I didn't know that. Never seen that. I'm glad you explained that.
Walt and I did one of their other interesting flight over the tidal flats. If you want to go to that right away, or if you got something else you want to do.
No, go for it.
So we went down to San Felipe and flew back north. We launched at low tide, so we had a nice hard spot. But as you can see, the wind is offshore, so we had to launch going into the beach. So if it had been high tide, we would have been OTL. Then we flew north through one of the salt evaporation areas and worked our way up to the salt flats. And this is all designs left by the retreating, drying tidal waters.
Right.
And it just got more interesting the further north we went.
And that's just some mucky nastiness if you landed in there.
This is not a place where we really were looking forward to landing out and trying to get retrieved, as you can imagine.
No foot dragging going on here.
No. And
yeah, there were some excellent pictures in there. Did Cross Country take any of these pictures? I don't remember.
Yes.
Yeah, look at that.
Yeah,
that is amazing. You really are competition with George Steinmetz.
Well,
I don't know if you know that.
Isn't that awesome?
You know him. You know George Steinmetz.
I know his work. I don't know him personally. But
you know, he was on the show.
No way.
Yeah. Yeah. He was on, I don't know what episode it was, but he was on the show.
What'd you bribe him with?
Well, I just got him hyped up on photography, and he doesn't care about paramotoring. That was just a means of getting a picture for him.
Yeah.
Yeah. I told him I knew Phil Russman and Jeff Hamann, and then he said, okay.
Yeah, right. Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I'm really these are incredible pictures.
We just turned around and flew back to San Felipe.
And so your best, would you say the highlight of the trip was that gold mine?
You know, that wasn't my favorite flight because it was so bumpy.
Oh,
this is probably my favorite flight. It was just so cool.
Yeah.
Very calm. And, you know, as you can see, the scenery was amazing.
Can you drive on the beach there?
To a certain point, yes.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's
then,
great.
You know, in some of those photos, you'd swear you're looking at you'd swear you're looking at a background of Star Wars or something, you know?
Yeah.
Maybe they'll make a set out of it someday. See all the tire tracks on the beach?
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is where the gringos all go. There's lots and lots of campgrounds and areas where they rent property and set up
Well, go back
trailer.
one picture. Go back one. Oh, shoot. I think we lost it.
What are you looking for?
Yeah, right there. What was that on the beach?
Dead sea lion.
It is a dead sea lion. I knew it. What do you think happened there? A little cyanide drink?
I don't know.
Wow.
And there's our trusty van and driver waiting for us to land.
And there's that ridge. Oh, yeah.
But of course, we had to check out the soaring a bit before we landed.
Yep.
Doesn't that look good?
Yeah, that's great. And what is that place called?
This is
San Felipe.
It's just north of San Felipe. It's all part of San Felipe, but there's the place where we parked actually has a name which escapes me at the moment.
Yeah. Well, I don't expect you to know all the Spanish names, although most of San Diego roads are Spanish roads. Spanish.
This
names.
is El Dorado, which is a big development down there.
That's nice.
Owned by mostly gringos. Yeah. El Dorado Ranch. Yeah.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Not a single person on the beach. Must have been hot already.
June. I'm not sure. So there's the
trusty ground crew.
Ground crew. Saw that one. Here we are free flying at one of the best spots.
How many of the guys brought free flying stuff?
Four of us, I think.
That's great. You guys were thinking ahead. That's
Do you like that cage? And
wow. Wait a second. Is that yours?
No.
Oh no. So he was
Warp,
launching and blew it?
Yeah.
Oh, and he
warped
hurt
like
himself.
space.
He hurt his leg too, huh?
Yeah, he twisted his knee a little bit. We actually hired a cook who had dinner waiting for us every night when we got back.
See, that's a Jeff Hammond trip right there.
Like that? That's
Yeah.
planning ahead.
That's thinking ahead.
Uh-huh.
What does your shirt say there? Something about an old man?
Oh, yeah.
Never underestimate an old man.
That's right.
Where did you
With a
get that
paramotor.
shirt?
An old man with a paramotor.
Yeah. Did you make that shirt or somebody?
No, that was a gift from Casey.
No kidding.
Yeah, every
That's a
night
good one.
we set up to work on motors because there was something the matter with them every night.
Wow.
So here's the workshop just outside the door. Eric taking his carburetor apart again.
Trying to rebuild that thing. Oh, what a bummer.
And we enjoyed a cigar in the evening
And right on the beach.
No, that's at the house. Yeah, well, it's on the river.
Yeah, I guess it's close enough. I'm easy to please. That one with the old man shirt, it looks like paradise. If you could post that on Instagram, people have no idea that was a runoff.
This is us giving Eric a hard time about him not making it to any of our destinations, always landing out.
Yeah.
And here, Juanjo just landed at the house and you pick up your wing and walk into the patio. Is that cool or what?
Yeah, that's great. How many places were there to sleep in there? That was just one big building or multiple bungalows?
It had a lot of bedrooms.
Okay. And Airbnb type of thing?
VBRO.
VBRO. Oh, look at that snake.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah. Verbio, yeah.
Yeah, they watched that snake eat a baby bird.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Wow. I do want to mention one more sponsor. That's Resurgence PPG. If you're interested in supporting our men and women of uniform, you can make a tax-deductible donation to resurgencepppg.com. By donating, you're sponsoring those who have put their lives on the line for your freedom. Reach out to Todd Scandrett at resurgencepppg.com if you want to support that. We've come to the end of our show. I do, again, want to just say thank you to all the Patreon supporters and all the supporters that have been supporting the show on through PayPal or the super chats. You guys are awesome. You keep the show going. We're going to do some promo stuff going to the flying circus for the first time. And so I'm really stoked about that. I'm thinking we'll probably have a little base camp there. So come and say hi if you do, if you can go to that. That's February 16th. Let me see.
Are you going to do a show from the flying circus?
Man, that is a good question. I guess it will depend on the quality of the internet or if somebody has Starlink.
The what?
The internet.
Yeah, internet is touchy out there. I do know that.
Yeah,
it is hit and miss.
Let's see.
You need to talk to your buddy Elon before you go out there and.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe you could get set up with some phones at that.
That's a good idea. I'll shoot him a text and see if he can get us dialed in for that. Realistically, Jeff is probably the only one that he'll respond to.
Yeah, right.
We really do have to get Mo on the show, not just because I'm trying to get free entry because I already paid for my tickets. But I would like to have him on the show pre-flying circus just so we can talk about the shenanigans and build up the hype. So I'll shoot him another message and then maybe if I have to, I'll CC you on there, Jeff, and make him respond.
Well, right now he is in the middle of putting together the 2023 calendar.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yes, I've been receiving daily emails, which is kind of interesting. He never starts this early. So I'm hoping this is a good sign that maybe it'll be done before the end of January for once.
Yeah. Well, I noticed that there was a change of who's running stuff. Gosh, what's his name? I think his name is Matt. Let's see, updates. I just saw this. I'm looking at the website now. It is, what did he say? He needed help. Yeah, go to the website. The website is actually ArizonaFlyingCircus.com. And you can find out, there's all kinds of stuff on there. I should be screen sharing right now. You can see what I'm looking at. Here we go. Share. Yeah, this is the Flying Circus website. I was looking at a report that said, oh, notice Matthew Shields will no longer be volunteering at the Arizona Flying Circus, including creating, publishing, or maintaining the Arizona social media accounts, advertising, vending, tickets, or other activities. This, yeah. So now we're going straight to Mo Sheldon. So he might be just working like a madman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
He's always got something going on. I mean, he's very, very productive.
John actually dragged him over to his phone and said, "Hey, this is Robert," and tried to connect the dots. So I appreciate that, Sean. He tried to make it happen. But
I did. I was working really hard. I was like, Mo.
I got his phone number, doesn't answer, and I got his email, and I've left him. Anyways, great show, man. Super cool adventure. Again, go check out Cross Country Magazine issue 234. Jeff's got a great write-up in there, and stay tuned for more. Jeff has another great adventure that he just completed. We're not going to talk about it, but I'll give a little teaser. Yeah, there it is, Real Hardy. Yep. This adventure that he was just on involves, I'll just give you a little glimpse. It involves the Amazon River. I'll just say that. That's it, and nothing else. So you're going to want to see that one, and we're definitely going to have to reel Jeff back on when he has his pictures loaded up and everything ready for some more storytelling. So thank you again. If you want to see some of the previous episodes, go back to Paragliding Talk, previous episodes, and we'll have a great time. So thank you. Jeff, thank you for coming on. Ripman, thank you for coming on, hanging out with us. And Sean, thank you for spinning the wheel and being a part of the show as always. You guys are awesome. Thank you, everybody in the chat. You guys are awesome. We'll see you on the next one. If I don't see you in the air, I'll see you on the air. We're going to drop a link to the after show if you want to come hang out with us for a few minutes and watch me eat my dinner. And we'll see you on the next one. Have a great night.